Oh, it tastes like a pool floaty.
Yeah, it does.
It's a sour pool floaty. Welcome to our home. We are back again. This is the third episode that we've gotten to do, and
Second.
Well, it's the second one we've released, but it's the third one that we're doing, and it could be the first one where the baby wakes up in the middle. We've gotten very fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, the way this night played out, it could very well happen. So, you know.
I have two things. You want to hear my two things?
Okay, what's your two
Actually,
things?
there are two questions for you. Okay, what are currently, is that the right way to say that? My least favorite thing about the podcast and my favorite thing about the podcast.
Your least favorite thing about the podcast is that it's late at night, and your favorite thing is that it's late at night.
That could be true. But actually, no. My least favorite is that I have to stay in like the same position. Like, you know me, whenever we're talking and having conversations,
sprawl.
I'm usually like stretching, you know? I'm stretching.
Okay, so
stretch
you
here.
just stretch the whole time.
I can't stretch.
It's like,
like
every time we pan back to you, you're just in a different pose.
That's what it's like. Anybody who knows me knows that if I'm having a conversation, I'm stretching.
Now I'm all discombobulated. I gotta get back in my mode.
Okay, so that's my least favorite thing is that I can't move around.
You can't stretch.
Yeah. My favorite thing, though, is like doing these conversations kind of remind me of our time in Hawaii because I don't know, it takes me back to like, it's just us and we're having conversations.
Yeah, it's not as warm or beachy as Hawaii.
I know. That
here on our couch in our living room.
But anyway, so.
Well, I was thinking about, so last week we talked about a would you rather question, and it seemed real obvious, and so we just blew right past it. But as I was listening back to that podcast, like, I don't feel like we explored that well. So it's the one about the questions and the push-ups. So it was, would you rather do a push-up every time a kid asked you a question? And then we were like, oh, obviously we can't have that one because there's so many questions. But then I was thinking about the other side of that is like, you have to say no a different way every time. And I was like, okay, so maybe I didn't phrase it the way that I meant it, but what I meant was every time that you say no or a negative phrase, it has to be different. Like once you've used it, it goes away. And so I was thinking about that, and I was like, that becomes a much harder question because it's like, I'm gonna run out, and then at some point, like, how many different ways can you say? Are you just making noises at that point?
Mentally tiring. Like, I'm pretty good at noises. Yeah, I'd be making noises. That would be mentally tiring.
Our house would just be chaos all the time.
Yeah.
I'd run upstairs. What's going on? I just wanted to say to that person. What are you talking about?
It's like a robot sound.
I don't know.
I need
how many different ways are there?
Phone.
So it's like nope.
Different
that one's
accents.
gone. Yet.
There we go.
You have to learn different languages.
Or I get like an
9
of different languages. Like
10
German.
11. You just like every time mom says a number, you better stop what you're doing.
Make math a little hard. Okay.
I don't know. I think at the end of the day, we would still have to take the push-up one, but or we still would not take the push-up one.
Not take the push-up one.
But you know, it would be healthier
right now. Again, because Oakland's in that phrase.
The phrase of phase of phrase of phrase.
Where everything is like, she prefaces everything with a question. So she'll say, "Mom." Like, yeah.
Well, that's all the children. All the children start every phrase with "Mom," which is a question.
And it's hilarious too because if the same person's talking to me, like Jackson could be talking to me for like 5 minutes, and every time he has a new thought to share, he will say, "Mom," and blah, 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 and "Mom." And blah, blah, blah.
Yep, it's question, and those do count.
And I just thought about how our kids like to listen to that, so that's not a knock against my kids.
No, but it does remind me of the seagulls in Finding Nemo. They're like, "Mom, mom, 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 mom,
it's
mom,
funny. They
mom,
don't realize
mom,
they
mom."
do it.
It's amazing. And it's going to be like that for a while because you have a child who hasn't even learned how to say "mom" yet.
Oh, she said "mom," but hers is
mama.
Or nah.
But it's not a question.
No, it's a demand.
Hers is ma. Speaking of questions, so here's our quick question for today. We're on a health episode. We're talking about health, obviously holistic health, healthy living, all those things, much more important to you than me, but you've started to convert me over the last several years.
It's really taken hold of you.
Yeah. And so here's a quick question about the health for us. What's the health fact that you learned recently that was the most surprising to you? And I think about you and I have both been listening to some really cool podcasts, some different things. I've been expanding my mind, all these different things. Yeah, expanding my mind about like crazy things. And like even I brought a podcast to you that I had found just really interesting. The guy was saying stuff that was just blowing my mind. And I always, whenever I hear health stuff, I always go to you because I'm like, is this true? Have you heard this before? Because you study that like I study money. And so... Yeah, no, that's my impression of myself. At that 12.
It's like your little guy in your head. That's all.
I don't know. At that 12. And then you say no to me that no, it's not true, but you have to say it a different way. But what is it? What's the health fact that you learned recently that was the most surprising for you?
Okay. I think mine would be how important muscle health is. I mean, I've always known that like movement and exercise is incredibly beneficial for like your whole life. And there have been people that I've seen on social media. Like I can think of this one guy who is in martial arts, and he's like 70 years old, and he trains these young people or like
would
younger.
Love that.
Yeah. But he's in like really good shape, and he talks about how he's like, I'm in better shape now than I was in like my 40s. So I've heard there are people like that, and I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Because it's possible.
This
to,
is
like,
Stephanie's dream.
Yeah. Be a 7-year-old.
She's never gonna get old.
So anyways, but no, so muscle health is tied to your brain health, your hormone health, your metabolic health. I think I wrote a couple of other ones down, but like the longevity of your life. Like we're so focused on other things, and we really should have a bigger emphasis on keeping your muscle because it protects your bones and different things. So my mind's just been blown at how important muscle is, and it's kind of shifted the way like my focus in working out and trying to make sure that I'm like, okay, I need to like get a little more nerdy about what I'm doing. So and muscle is super important.
Yeah, and going back to the old thing, that it's funny to me because it's kind of this inside joke all the time. Since we've been married, I've always been like complaining about, I'm getting old, and it's always a thing. Like
I'm always like, no, you're not getting old.
you just have always been this. You've been on this train of no, we're not gonna get old. Yeah. We're gonna old's a state of mind.
It is because your thoughts are powerful, which you really taught me that. So I'm always like dishing it back out. It's
back to me. Yeah. Well, what's interesting though is some of the things we've been listening to lately are talking about literally that though. Is like you don't have to age the same way everybody else does. Like everybody's going to get older, but your body can actually get younger. Your brain can get younger. Like people, it doesn't even have to start now. It should. You could start while you're young, but like people who are 40, 50 years old started doing certain things, and they do like the brain age tests and things like that, and their brain age goes younger, and their body starts to look healthier. I was thinking of a guy that I recently started following, and he was talking about how he thought he was fairly healthy, and he met the guy that we listened to on the podcast, Gary Brecka, says some controversial things. I don't know that everything that he says is correct, but he was talking about how he had this interaction with his client, and at first his client was just like, I don't want anything to do with this, I don't have time for this, but then he started describing to him how he felt, and he's like, it was like the guy was in my house, like tired when you're waking up, it feels like you got punched in the night even though you didn't, like things like that, like things that he couldn't have possibly known. And he's like, I know exactly why you feel that way, I know that you feel that way, and I know how to fix that you feel that way. And he's like, the difference between 2 years ago me and now looks 10 or 20 years different in the face and the body. Like I feel that much younger. So it's crazy. Like
that reminds me. You can.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
You can delay aging and reverse it in some cases.
That reminds me too of this study I heard. So one of my favorite podcasts, Tribe Healthy or Trim Healthy Mama podcast, but they were talking about different studies that have to do with your muscle and how it's tied to different aspects. But they had age groups of some elderly people who did like brain games, like crossword puzzles, and just like challenging their brain with different different types of games like that. That's what they did for their brain health. And then the other group, they just did lower body strengthening. And the people that did the lower body strengthening, their brain health and things like it increased more than the games didn't really put a dent in anything. And so I was like, that is just crazy.
Well, and you hear about how muscle, going back to your thing, I heard about it, like you need muscle to crush your food. It's like how your body processes and digests and all of that, your metabolism, it's all linked to that. And so the more muscle that you have, and when we say muscle, we're not necessarily talking about being ripped. We're just talking about being strong, having muscles that are functioning properly, you know, and not vegged out on a couch, which I struggle with. I'm still working on. That's kind of like the thing that she's still trying to get me to love, and I still don't love it. But you know, I want to not grow old. So, so mine is actually from the same guy. He was talking about the benefits of breathing, and you don't really think about breathing as something that you do all the time, but he was specifically talking about. Like
just want to take a deep breath real quick, like you hear the word breathing, and you're like, have I been doing that?
So it's funny little aside. There was one night, I was like half asleep, and I started thinking too hard about how someone breathes, and I like forgot how to breathe for a minute and freaked myself out. And I was like, how do you breathe? I don't know. I don't know why I thought of that, but I was like 14. I was way too old for that to have happened to me. But late at night on my bed, I was just like, how do you breathe? Anyways, but the benefits of breathing, he was talking about specifically like short bursts, almost like hyperventilating breathing, like what swimmers will do right before they go under the water, or divers would do. But he was talking about doing that like every morning when you wake up, like 10 breaths in a row, and then hold one and like let it cleanse, and then 10 more breaths in a row, just really like like that, like as deep as you can go, pushing your breath out and then pushing it in. And he's like, the first several times that you do that, you're gonna feel like the tingling in your teeth and the tingling in your hands. He's like, what that is oxygen going places that it hasn't normally gone. And to me, that was what was crazy, is because we are all way more oxygen depleted than we think that we are. And oxygen, I mean, you don't think about it ever, but it is like, it's the lifeblood of everything. Like oxygen is your blood, and it's everything. Like it's,
your body needs it.
You have to have it. People who have higher levels of oxygen perform at higher levels.
Healthier,
you know?
Like their body attacks, like it's late. Anyways, like if you got the bad things in your body.
Bacteria?
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, the more oxygen you have in your body,
we'll call them bugs. All the bugs in your body.
Okay, this was really good up until that point.
Oh, it's still good.
But I wanted to say, I didn't listen to him, but I was getting into like the Wim Hof, the Iceman, some of that method, because he talks a lot about combining cold therapy with breathing therapy. And the first time I ever tried some of that, I was shocked by how my body felt. But no, like the way the tingling, like the full body tingling, like your body just like it feels alive. And then how much like more relaxed my body was. And then also the way that he does it is you hold your breath for a certain amount of time. And like I don't practice holding my breath. Like if you would ask me right now to just like hold my breath as long as I could, like I don't know, 30 seconds, you know. But like the first time I did it for like a minute and 30 seconds, and I was just like, wow, what just happened? So I was thinking as you were talking about that, if you were to plunge yourself in an ice bath for the first time, it probably would be the deepest breath you ever took. Yeah, it would be like, you need some breathing techniques.
All right, so we have another segment here. We're actually not going to take a break. We just did a quick question, and it was pretty quick. So we're going to go right into this. This is a stupid name. I'm calling it Sitchitations.
Okay, you got to say it like that. Sitchitations.
Well, I was going to say it in a southern accent, and I decided at the last minute to be more like English bulldog. It's supposed to be like up. It's supposed to be like Sitchitations.
We've had like a bulldog pop up when you say Sitchitations.
But I did write it in our doc as Sitch.
I saw that.
Etations.
Yeah.
Sitchitations. I did not write it correctly.
I was like,
it's supposed to be Sitchitations, but it's
Sitchitations.
Sitchitations. Here's your Sitchitation for the day.
Situations is funner to say.
So here it is. Your Sitchitation.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. You're stranded on a remote island. A bottle
like,
washes up on the shore.
Like in Fun with Dick and Jane, whenever he was like, dicks. Okay.
Sitchiations.
Okay.
Botox in the lips. A bottle washes up on the shore of your remote island, and inside there's a note that reads, you can bring any 3 people in the world, one at a time, and they can each do one thing for you, and once they've granted your request, they'll be taken back home. So what 3 people do you choose, and what are they doing for you?
So, okay, well, this feels like a little bit, obviously it's not real life. So I was like, can we choose like pretend,
Pretend people?
Well, fictional characters, because like, can I just call on Iron Man to come get me?
So I originally put this question as movie characters, and then I was like, too easy.
I know, yeah.
So it has to be real people, and it has to be alive people, and it has to be people you can name.
Okay.
So you can't say, I would like a scientist. Well, you have to name a scientist.
Okay. I got it. Okay. No. Okay. I have to know them?
You don't have to know them. You have to name them.
Okay.
If you don't know the name of one.
The survivalist guy, his name's Bear.
Okay.
I don't know his last name.
I had him on my list.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know anything
Bear
else.
Grylls.
Bear Grylls. Grills.
It's the dumbest name I've ever heard.
Because it sounds like you're saying girls.
No, it's grills.
Okay.
Like burgers.
Bear Grylls. Okay, yeah, I want him.
Bear burgers.
He's gonna help me with whatever survivalist thing that I need.
No, you gotta
pick one.
What's the one thing he's gonna do for you?
Okay.
He only gets to do one thing.
Okay. He's gonna get me a bunch of food.
So you're not trying to get off this island?
No, I am, but he's not the guy that's gonna get me off the island.
Well, he could.
Has he built some boats and things before?
I don't know. He's been out on them, stranded on them.
It's true, but I'm on an island, so
I can give you some advice, I guess.
He could. Okay, we can have conversations while he's getting me my food.
Sure. He gets to hang out as long as he hasn't completed your request.
I need a lot of food, Bear. Tell me how to make a boat.
I'm still hungry.
You haven't completed your mission.
You would be too. You'd just be hungry all the time. It's like, just keep bringing me food.
Mm-hmm.
When does this request end? When do I get to go back home? All right, so you got Bear. Now what you gonna do?
Okay. Well, the only engineer that I can think of is my Uncle John.
Okay.
Okay. He's really good at building things, so we're gonna build a boat together.
So here comes Uncle John to build a boat. Now, has Uncle John ever built a boat?
He's built a lot of cool stuff.
I know he's built a Christmas light display.
He's not just like, to just say a Christmas light display, I feel like doesn't do it justice.
No, it's a cool one.
Like a 12 house. Okay, maybe not 12, but like it's intense what he's done.
It's big.
And so, anyway,
but has he built a boat?
I'm sure he could.
Sure he could.
I'm putting a lot of faith in Uncle John.
So Uncle John's coming to build a boat after Bear Grylls has gotten you some food.
Well, my last person, before you made the caveat of I have to like know the name, I was like, I need somebody who can like navigate.
Were you gonna get Johnny Depp to come and steer
Johnny
your boat?
Depp, I don't feel
can
like
you channel your inner Jack Sparrow for me, please?
Strap some sea turtles together.
You would love that.
I would.
That's your whole plan.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody. You just want some sea turtles.
Some sea turtles. Yeah.
That's
like,
all
I'll
you
just
need.
Be happy on the island
I'm
with
just
my
gonna.
sea turtles.
That's what you should have Bear Grylls do. Go lasso me 2 sea turtles, and then you can go.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know anybody to help me like find my way across the ocean, so I guess I'm screwed after those 2 people.
You could get Marlin from Finding Nemo.
Yeah, except we're not using fictional characters.
Well, he's real.
Okay.
He's a clownfish.
For real though,
he's just
do I
not funny.
know anybody who's exceptional at directions?
Yes, you do. You're not thinking.
Okay.
Who taught you directions?
Oh, Pop. Yeah. Okay. Getting Pop.
Now you know north, south, east, and west. Would you know it on a remote island? Could you figure it out?
I don't know. Pop lead us home.
He's like, well, you go west for a little bit, and then you get to. So he's just going to give you directions. He doesn't get to go with you.
I know.
But then you're like, but which way is west? Come back. And tell me like I'm a child. All right, so you're gonna like my plan. Originally I was like, okay, I need a smart guy to come up with my plan. But then I was like, nah, I'm a smart guy. I'm gonna
You
come
need
up with a
smart guy
plan.
to come up with it. Okay, gotcha.
I was like, I need to get a
Well,
smart
you
guy
like
there.
to delegate. You like to get people.
I was
to
like,
do
here,
things.
I'll get like Elon Musk, and I'll have him come up with a plan. But I was like, nah, I can come up with my own plan.
When we were trying to figure out the answers to these questions, I was like, I would not be good at trying to actually like you're gonna be so much more well.
You should have had me be one of your people.
I'm just gonna be like, woohoo, I'm on an island.
She's like, I don't want to leave this island. What are you talking about? That's why I'm starting with food. Bear Grylls food. That's all I need. Just staying here. Instead of Uncle John, you're not building me a boat. Now you're building me a hammock, and I'm just staying.
I think
on
I
this
could
island.
build myself a hammock.
Out of what?
I'd find something.
Palm
I don't
branches?
Know. Sure, palm. I'll weave some branches.
You're gonna
together.
weave? Have you ever weaved before? You're just gonna start weaving?
I'm sure I can figure it
Have
out.
you wove?
Woven?
Wee! So,
Okay, your other guy.
So here's my plan. Instead of having the smart guy, I'm gonna be the smart guy. I don't
Okay,
need
you
a
be the
smart
smart
guy.
guy.
I'm gonna be the smart guy.
All right.
I'm gonna be a smart aleck at least.
Okay.
And then you're my first person because you're gonna give me a kiss for confidence.
Okay.
And then that's all you're gonna do.
That's all you need.
And I'm gonna be like, all right, I got a plan. Here's my other plan. I'm gonna get a handyman.
Okay.
So it could be either my dad, or I was thinking Tim Allen, because Tim Allen, he was in Home Improvement. Surely he picked up something from Home
and
Improvement.
if he doesn't, he's gonna be super funny.
And isn't he in the Last Man Standing thing too? He's kind of handy in that. So he's handy.
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear, he knows how to do all that
Exactly.
stuff.
Shoot the aliens.
Yeah, all the aliens on my remote island, all the illegal aliens that are crossing my border. Get off my island! Also, take me with you. So anyways, so I could bring in Tim Allen. I know my dad is really handy with like tools and stuff. I just don't know I don't know if we could figure out like how to do it with no tools. Like, 'cause he doesn't get to bring anything. We just got trees and branches and stuff. So I don't know. I already know my dad, so maybe I want to meet Tim Allen. Maybe we're related. Who knows?
Sorry, Dad.
So one of you, I'll make that call on the island. Either my dad, Todd Allen, or Tim Allen. One of the two.
One of the Allens.
One of the Allens is coming over.
Maybe you're secretly hoping.
And then I need a strong guy to drive my boat. That's it. I'm just gonna get somebody.
Why do you need a strong guy to drive your boat?
Because he's gonna swim ahead.
I'm
just gonna lounge on it. So I can either get Jason Momoa because he's Aquaman.
So, are they gonna be in the water like swimming and
maybe they kick their legs off the bottom of the raft?
Just be your little motorboat.
I'll be like this, and then either they can row, like they can get a pole and row, or they can swim. So either Jason Momoa because he's Aquaman, he's got experience.
Yeah.
Or just The Rock because he's strong.
Yeah.
Plus, it'd be cool. It'd be cool to meet The Rock. So I got Tim Allen and The Rock.
Yeah.
And you kissing me.
Yeah.
It'd be great, and I'll be home in no time. So I think that's what I would do.
Maybe I need the red shoes.
Also, if I don't get you first, if I don't have you come and kiss me first, and I still get one more person, then I'm gonna have Mr. Beast come and film me, because then it'll turn into this like competition and be like, can Caleb get off this island in 24 hours to win $1 million? Then I'll come back and kiss you.
Okay, so
with $1 million.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I had plenty of confidence. I didn't need you. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. And we are back. We've got a fun game coming up. We're going to try some healthy snacks. Again, it's a health episode.
Yeah.
And so I went to the health food store today. How many times can I say health in this sentence?
We're going to count.
It's a health episode. I went to the health food store. I looked for some health food snacks at the health food store.
Got some health things for me.
Health. Anyways, you know how hard it is to find health food at a health food store?
It can be difficult actually to find
It's so stupid how hard it is to find health food at a health food store.
Acclimate yourself to the different world.
And people are like, what are you talking about? It's a health food store. Everything in a health food store is health food. No, it isn't. I started looking at these ingredients. You've taught me very well. Everything has a seed oil in it, even at the health food store.
Yeah.
So they got sunflower oil or canola oil, even like the worst of all the oils, or whatever safflower is. They've got one of those. Some of them have all three. Or some of them have or. They don't even know what oil they put in there. They just put one of them in there. Who knows? Could be sunflower, could be safflower, could be canola. I don't know. Put an oil in there, man. So it's so hard to find something that's actually genuinely healthy for you. But I was able to find like
or super
seven-ish
clean.
snacks.
Like you can still find things that are a level of healthy.
Sure.
You got different levels of healthy, but if you're looking for something really clean, like squeaky clean,
something that's like all real natural food.
Mhm.
So like the seed oil thing, it's not natural. The way that they get that stuff is completely unnatural. It's why it's super unhealthy for you. So like finding something that has real ingredients in it that can also be put on a shelf and sold, it's really hard to do. And so I found like 7 or 8 different things. I think that was everything they had in the store that met my criteria.
Well, you were also carting around some kids and
oh no, but we looked like I picked up them all. I was reading the backs and stuff like that. So one thing I want us to do is when we try a snack, I want to kind of like highlight some of the key ingredients, and you could talk about like, oh, that's really good for you because of this or whatever. But another thing I want to do is I want to put this to the test. Is it possible to find really, really, really yummy snacks that don't have the bad stuff in it? And so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to try the snack. We're going to rate it on a scale of give it, share it, or hide it. And all of those is from our kids. So give it to the kids because I don't want it. And so they'll eat anything. They'll eat those snacks. Like Arrow will have that all gone tomorrow.
Although it's funny because Arrow started asking me, especially if after times that we've been sick, and he's like, Mom, is this healthy for me?
Oh,
and
that's
the other
cool.
night before bed, he told me, he's like, Mom, we should get rid of all of the sugar in the world. I don't know what prompted this.
I don't know. I disagree with that. I need some sugar in my life still.
He's gonna be the next like The Rock or something,
Oh, sure.
Like,
He's a crazy cool little kid.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I grabbed all these snacks. We're going to try to say, do we give it to the kids? Do we share it with the kids? Because we just kind of like it, but I don't really care if they eat it or not. Because, I mean, it's healthy for them, but it doesn't taste that great. Or are we hiding it from the kids? Mm-hmm. And I'll bring home some snacks sometimes that I have found, and those kids aren't touching it. Because if they touch it, it's gone. Mm-hmm. I get one, and it's all gone.
Yeah. I have some special snacks, like the chocolate that I wish that I had. They were out. It was sad.
It's really shipping to you. Your chocolate bar. I thought, was that one not shipping? It doesn't matter. That is not. It's not podcastable material. All right. So our first snack. I'm gonna pick these at random.
Okay.
They're all just down here. I'm gonna grab one of them. This one is called Spaceballs. Interstellar Cheddar. Steffanie already has her mind in the gutter.
Well, how can you not think of that movie?
I can't think of it because I never watched it. So this is by a company called Lesser Evil. So I actually have 2 things here from them because they had really good ingredients. So this one actually has some of the most ingredients, but most of it's like spices. So they have whole grain yellow corn, organic whole grain yellow corn. So you're not a huge corn fan.
No, because most corn is grown and genetically modified, or just like it's so prevalent that your body can kind of build up resistance to corn. So like my body doesn't handle corn products very well. So lots of people have allergies. So it kind of it would need to be like really clean, grown.
Gotcha.
Stuff.
Well, instead of super stupid seed oil, this is organic avocado oil.
Okay.
Which is really nice. Don't know about this one, but it does list all the ingredients, which I'm not going to go through all of them, but organic vegan cheddar. So it's not even real cheese.
What is it?
Tapioca starch, Himalayan salt, organic yeast.
Okay.
Organic flavor. Why would you just put organic flavor?
Well, so that way they know that you kind of have...
Like that's one of the ingredients.
Yeah. Flavor.
And then like garlic powder, onion powder, mustard, spices. So anyways.
Terrible.
Here you go. It's a cheese puff. Have a cheese puff.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's see if this is worth re-eating. This is not very good.
It's funny because I'm like, that tastes fine to me. Wait, I don't eat cheese puffs.
It gets better. When the flavor kicks in, it's a little bit better. Like the first puff, I need another one. The first puff just went poof and it was gone, but it also like didn't have the best flavor right away.
The saltiness.
It's a little sweet. It's kind of weird.
I don't think it's sweet. No, not really. Like, but it's not bad. It's just like, so like, say I wanted my kids to have like a, you know, like they love those things. Like you've got like the actual cheese puffs, you know, and I feel like that'd be a pretty good swap.
I think I'm going to give it to the kids.
Well, they will be very excited.
I don't hate it, but I also don't want any more of it.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Give it to the kids. I wouldn't buy that for myself. That's not like a me snack.
I don't know that any of these are going to be a you snack, but you snack very weirdly.
Yeah, I snack on protein.
I don't know that any of these have protein, so
we'll see.
I looked at some protein ones. They didn't have good stuff. All right.
Oh, but I do like my plantain chips.
Oh, look at this. This is the other lesser evil.
Okay.
This one's called Sun Poppers.
Okay.
It's Himalayan pink salt flavor, and it's cassava.
Oh, cassava.
Which is interesting. So cassava flour and avocado oil.
Okay.
I'm
not familiar with, I don't know, like, so if avocado oil, like, I'm not super familiar with that one. I feel like it's a better oil for you, but it's still like heated, you know, it's still, anyways. So
it's a good one under heat from what I've heard. Like that one, coconut oil, like those ones don't turn rancid under heat.
Okay.
So that's what I've heard. I'm not sure, but I'm not the expert. I know cassava though because of our trips to Africa. It's a staple food there.
Who's cassava?
It's gross. Oh. It's disgusting. So hopefully they made this good.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one to come in things.
This is the weird thing. It does have organic protein blend, but it's watermelon, pumpkin, watermelon protein and pumpkin protein powder.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not optimistic. So here's a little cassava pellet.
Weird. Okay.
It looks very strange.
Okay.
You see that? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think of this.
It kind of reminds me of the bugles.
It's a little bit like a bugle. I'm not going to tell you what it reminds me of. You can use your imagination. I think I taste the watermelon and pumpkin like influence in there. It's very bland.
Yeah.
It's just
kind of like salty. Like if you just wanted something crunchy and salty. But that's not what I would go to.
It's not bad. It's really dry.
It's kind of dry.
But that's cassava. Like but cassava dries your mouth out.
The cheese puffs kind of like left a film in my mouth, and I don't like that. This doesn't do that.
This does feel a little cleaner.
I think
I'm still giving it to the kids.
Powder. Yeah.
I'm just gonna give it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So we're 0 for 2. Mm-hmm. We're 0 for 2 on like going back for another bite. Those are some of the stronger contenders, so I'm a little worried. You might like these. So these are organic plantain crisps. They're not chips. They had chips. These are crisps.
Okay, because
the same brand.
I actually have that brand, and I have chips,
and these are made with coconut oil.
Yep.
These have very few ingredients. They're literally plantains, coconut oil, and sea salt.
Yeah.
So.
That's why I buy
but
those.
This is what they look like.
They're a puff.
They're not chips. They're not puffs. They're crisps.
Okay.
They're huge.
This is really big.
And they're not sweet either. Plantains are not sweet.
This is probably going to be my kind of snack.
Yeah. I bet it will be, yeah.
Yep. I like those.
Yeah, I'm not a plantain fan.
I know, you don't really...
It definitely has that, like, plantain flavor in there. You can tell it's there. Which is not always true. Again, in Africa, they have a thing they make out of plantains, and it tastes like nothingness. Mm-hmm. It's disgusting. There's no plantain flavor in there at all. It's all like mashed up too. It's gross. I hate it. But this, like, you can definitely tell that there's plantain in there. I wouldn't eat another one. I will give this to the Steffanie. But Steffanie is sharing it or hiding it.
I probably would like share this with Zaria in Oakland some because I really like the ingredients and nice to have like something where I'm like, here, you can like have a crunchy chip thing that I know is good for you. So I would share it some. I wouldn't give it. I would keep like some for myself. Share it some.
I'm 0 for 3. And weird taste buds over here is 1 for 3.
I know. It's funny because like if you're trying to find, I always think about replacing. Like you want to find health foods that you enjoy to replace the things that aren't good for you. So I've been able to do that with things that like I really want to have. But like for you, like the jalapeno kettle chips, those are so good. Like if I eat some of those, it's like takes so much willpower to stop. That I've not found anything that's like good for you that's comparable. It's like
Yeah, there's a few healthier snacks that I really enjoy. There's our granola that we share.
Yeah.
That's mostly healthy
Really good.
ingredients in that. It's sweeter.
It's really good. It's the only thing that I would say is maybe not like it has coconut sugar in it. So if you're trying to go no sugar, then that wouldn't be good. But it's coconut oil and yeah, it's got good stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I enjoy that. There's a drink mix that I really enjoy with coconut water and milk that I've put together. But so far, going for like the super clean snacks, and I don't think it's gonna get that much better. We have zesty nacho kale chips. These ones are by Rhythm. I'm not optimistic about these at all. Hopefully they surprise me. I've always wanted to try
kale chips, or actually, I've always wanted to try like the seaweed chips.
Well, that looks like a seaweed.
Smaller one.
I don't think there is
smaller ones. Can you okay? Let's see.
That's not a good start when you open a bag of snacks and someone goes, "Can I have a smaller one?"
Okay.
The perceived value of these chips. I'm just gonna like suck it up and eat the whole thing though. Like I'm taking a big one. Give it a shot,
I like those.
Hold on. This might be the best snack we've had yet.
I like that. That's good.
It does have a little bit of an aftertaste, but that's kale. It's bitter on the end.
It is a little bitter at the end.
Oh, that started so good. It's like a Brussels sprout. Brussels sprout starts off and it's like, hey, I'm cabbage. And then you get to the end and you're like, not cabbage.
It has a strong kale taste at the end. They definitely it has sugar. It has organic cane sugar.
I like the spice of the nacho.
Mm-hmm.
That's in my throat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good, really good flavor.
Okay, I didn't read the ingredients. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's all organic, so I'm just gonna preface that. Kale. So I like when you know what the first ingredient is. They say what. You okay over there?
All right, it's all in my teeth now. I'm gonna have green teeth for the rest of the episode.
Well, your tongue was pretty green earlier when you were like. Bleh.
How? Why was it green?
You had like green flecks all over your tongue. You were like. Bleh.
From what?
Like, the kale chips.
Oh. I'm like earlier. Like, what did I eat that was green before the kale chips?
Okay.
I'm over here thinking I have the permanent green tongue.
No. That makes
Why did you never say anything before we got on camera?
I love that part. Okay. Kale. So the first ingredient, they always say like that's what there is the most of in it. Yep. Whatever's listed first. So there's kale in there.
Well, obviously, I can still taste it.
Sunflower seeds, tahini.
So at first, because I got so used to being like everything had sunflower oil in it, I was like, I almost put that back. Like I went, the second ingredient is almost always the oil. So it's like, oh, that's sunflower. Oh, wait a second. It said seeds. They almost got me. I almost didn't get this one.
Okay, onion, red bell pepper, apple cider vinegar, cane sugar, carrot, sea salt, garlic, lemon juice, and chipotle powder.
Yep.
So good
stuff.
So
the reason I got it, even though it has,
unless you're trying to go completely sugar,
even though it has cane sugar in it, it's you taught me about this is like, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of sugar. Like it's okay. It's the same thing with butter. We talked about butter. We might talk about butter later, but you're like, there's nothing wrong with butter. Like it's okay. Like it is not that bad as what everybody talks about. Like, and I think the reason why people talk about not a lot of butter is because it adds a ton of calories.
Yeah. Well, there was this thing for a long time too with saturated fats, like saturated fats and things are really bad for you. And so anyways, butter is good. You need healthy fats.
All right. So the kale chips, I'm going to share them. I would have hidden them if they had stayed tasting like the first 2 seconds.
Yeah, that first bite was like, ooh.
It was actually really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
And then if you're kind of used to like healthier snacking, then you probably would even like, I find that I actually enjoy now some like bitter taste. Like I'm like, I kind of want a little bit of the
I could see that would grow on me.
Yeah. Like it's I kind of refer to it as like a yuck yum.
So it's not that bad. It's honestly, it is one of those, like, it could be an acquired taste. I could see myself getting there eventually. There's something that we're going to try later that I'm anticipating that I don't know that I'll be able to acquire a taste for. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. But that's one that I feel like it's almost like beet chips. Like beet chips at first kind of were like, this tastes like a pile of dirt. But over time, like I started to get to where like, oh, especially with a sweet potato chip, a beet chip and a sweet potato chip together, like those two flavors really enjoy that now. So it could be one of those. I'll give it another shot while I share them with the kids.
Let's get the next one.
What are you doing?
Probably sharing it. I'll share it.
All right, I'm gonna do this one. I got 2 things with cacao, just so that we could say cacao.
What do you think of in your head when you hear cacao?
I think of a bird.
Okay, I specifically think of in robots whenever Robin Williams. Why can I not think of his name? Okay, he's the robot, and he's like, "I'll send a signal," and he's like, "Cacao, cacao." That's what I see in my head. Anytime you say cacao,
you're quoting a lot of movies today.
I am.
That I haven't seen in a while.
I like robots.
I don't know why I said that like Owen Wilson. I haven't seen that in a while.
That's what you did.
I've never tried to like impersonate Owen Wilson before. All right, so this is literally organic mango and organic cacao. No sugar, just cacao and mango. That is cool. Giant.
I don't want that big one.
They're all big.
Hard to like.
They're all huge.
Sometimes with organic snacks, it's like they're hard to eat. Okay.
I found one.
All right. It's like a little tough. Like I thought it was gonna be crispy. Like how hard this is to chew. I'm not gonna enjoy this. Okay, maybe I will actually.
Don't start off thinking that you're gonna hate it.
It's hard to chew.
All right, so this is solely organic mango strips.
Okay, I like the flavor, but it's gonna take forever to chew. It's like jerky.
It is like mango jerky. That's good though.
I'm gonna put that one back in there. Okay.
Oh, and the cacao actually. I didn't think I would like it without the sugar in it, but the mango is really helping.
Mm-hmm. I like the taste of the cacao.
It is definitely like the cacao has that bitterness because it's like dark chocolate, you know.
I'm so used to it though because I put it in my smoothie all the time.
That's right. I do like that though. Like, I don't know that it's gotten to hide it level. I think I would be fine with the kids eating this. It's fine. But, and I think it is just because if it was easier to chew, because I love the taste of it. I'm not a huge fan of the form factor.
Yep.
But what are you going to do? It's dried mango. Like,
I'd rather just have mango and cacao to put in my smoothie.
Actually, like a mango dipped in some like really good chocolate for you. Not bad. All right. We got 2 more left.
Okay.
We're going to save that one for last. I got this one. These are dairy-free queso potato chips.
Dairy-free queso potato chips.
It was really hard to find a potato chip that didn't have a bad oil in it, but I found one. So this one is potatoes, avocado oil, and then all the seasonings, like all the every seasoning that exists on the planet.
It's nacho or queso, so it's gonna have a lot.
Every seasoning that exists. One of them is ground dates.
Interesting.
Beet powder, mushroom powder.
Dates are a healthier way to sweeten things.
Serrano powder, red chili powder. There's just a lot of like powders, but they're like made from real thing powders. So that's nice. All right. I'm gonna grab a chip here.
Chip me.
Okay. I expect that I'm gonna like these. They're just potato chips.
Really good.
The chip itself is really good. The flavor, I'm not a huge fan of, unfortunately.
It kind of has like a smoky flavor that hits you.
It does. Like, it doesn't taste like queso at all.
At first, I was like, hey, this is not... Like, if you needed like a jalapeno replacement, this could kind of work. But then it kind of hits you with that smoky flavor.
Well, they had other ones.
But it's falling asleep.
But this brand, this Siete brand, kettle cooked, which is my favorite kind of chip, kettle cooked. Kettle cooked in avocado oil. This was the only one that wasn't super spicy. But they had like a Serrano lime one and a couple other ones that I think I probably would enjoy the flavor of. This one I probably... I'm not a huge fan of the flavor, but the second chip I liked better than the first chip. All right, I think I might hide. I might hide these.
I feel like those.
I might hide these, and I'm gonna hopefully try a different flavor.
Yeah, I feel like it's a
that
good
maybe would
swap
be a little
for
bit better.
you.
All right, one more. This is the one I'm the most scared of.
Okay.
This is dried cacao fruit. It's just cacao fruit.
There's nothing else in there.
It's just dehydrated cacao fruit.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't like 70% dark chocolate bars. This is 100% cacao.
Well, that'll be interesting.
I'm so nervous right now that this is gonna taste like a mouthful of dirt.
Got your chips. Grab your chips.
It looks like it looks like pellets, like a rat pellet from a really big rat. like a Nutri-Rat. Look at this. Ugh.
Okay,
look at this.
I have another reference.
Oh my
I don't know why I'm
gosh.
so full of references. It does look pretty bad.
And it's getting on my fingers. Look.
You remember?
It looks like. Oh.
Remember Big Terry in 9-9 when he was like
cacao
nibs?
Oh, it smells bad too. Oh, people eat this for fun. That's not what I expected. It's sour. Ooh. It tastes like a pool floaty.
Yeah, it does.
It's a sour pool floaty.
Okay, quit sticking your tongue out.
That is not good. You're over there like, oh, it's not bad.
And then
No,
I'm like,
that is not good.
No, yeah, at the pool noodle, pool floaty.
Pool noodle.
Pool floaty. Oh,
It's like, so when you're blowing up a wing, a water wing, it's exactly the flavor.
I need your water. Give me one of those chips.
Ah! Ah!
How did you even do that? Oh, I got it on me.
Ah! What happened? Well, with that note, we're going to take a quick break to clean ourselves up from dried cacao fruit that became undried. We'll be right back. We are back after cleaning up from what looked like a dirty diaper all over my
That's pretty bad.
my arms. I've changed quite a few dirty diapers in my day. I've never tried to eat one. That was unpleasant. But on that note, we're talking about health today. Ironically, I guess. And we're going to talk about the 5 biggest lies, and that's a little hyperbolic. 5 really big lies that people tell you about your health. And these are things that a little bit through trial and error, a little bit through your study, a little bit just through experiencing things that most people are afraid of, we have found have been really big benefits to us. So what's the first lie that a lot of people believe?
Probably one of the biggest ones for me, having had 6 children, is that natural birth is dangerous. Hospitals are like way safer than birthing a baby at home, and midwives are less experienced.
I'm gonna take this and just cut it with no context and put a thing of Steffanie on the natural birth is dangerous and hospitals are way safer and midwives are not experienced. Steffanie Allen. That's your quote on the t-shirt. Yeah. When the t-shirt comes out, that's the quote on the t-shirt. To be clear, this is the lie. So what's the truth? What have we found out to be the truth?
The truth. So I want to add a caveat real quick, because my first 2 children were born in the hospital by a cesarean. Extremely necessary, and it was a great experience. And so I do think that there's a time where hospitals are needed. Like,
we didn't want it; they just wouldn't come out.
Yeah, yeah.
Kept waiting, and then they're like, "Nah."
They're stuck.
Yeah, they were giving each other a giant hug.
Yeah, they were chin locked.
But so they still do. So
yeah. So anyways, yes, I'm not like saying never use a hospital, but
a lot of people think that the hospital is not only the best way, but the only way. And they're scared to death of like a home birth. I mean, we had one of our babies in the church bathroom because the midwife was still on the way, and I delivered it
because the baby was coming so fast.
The baby came really fast, and I had to deliver the baby, and then the midwife was there and took care of it, and was able to do all the aftercare and everything that you needed. It wasn't scary.
And stories about people who have had such good experiences at home, who were maybe told that they could have more children, or that they wanted to not have a cesarean, and doctors wouldn't deliver baby naturally after a cesarean. And so midwives, there are a lot of midwives who are very skilled with that, and so they go on to have a really good home birth, not that or a birthing center birth, not that there's not difficulty, but just that it's so good that the experience of like being in my home and not having all these interventions, which interventions cause more issues. One intervention leads to more interventions, and the hospital has to take care of itself. Like, it has its own procedures, it has things that it has to make sure happen. So if you go there wanting their services, then it makes it harder to advocate for what you really want for your health.
The hospital's number one goal is to accurately and professionally provide medical care, not emotional care.
Well, and a cesarean is easiest for them because
Yeah.
they're in control of so much. So like it's not safest for us. It's the
But explain to everybody like the desire that you have had from the beginning, even with the twins, of you always wanted to have home births, and the period of right after having a baby, and like how that's super important for you.
I think there's so much fear around childbirth, and I really believe that God designed our bodies to be able to carry and nurture and bring life into the world. And I want to be in an environment and with a team of people who support that and have that same belief as me, who are going to set me up for success with the least interventions, and who are ready to, ready if something goes wrong and we need help, because that does happen. But for the most part, supporting you and like your body can do this and it's hard work, but being able to bond with your baby. And there's so many things that are good for babies and mothers that I feel like we kind of lost some knowledge. Thankfully, it's coming back. But like if we were all just in the hospital, there would be things that you would miss. And so you go to have a home birth and you have your baby, and then you get to keep your baby right there with you. And the midwives are there checking on you and the baby. And it's very calm and relaxed and a safe environment.
You've talked even about like the lighting and the lack of chaos and just the different environment, like how important that is for those first few hours.
Yeah. If there's a lot of stress and chaos in the first couple of hours surrounding birth, sometimes that's unavoidable. But when it's peaceful and calm, like your baby feels what you feel. And it really can make a difference in the bonding and connection and the healing that comes after having a baby.
Yeah, I think that was the thing, especially with our last one. Our last home birth was peaceful. really peaceful, really smoothly. You finally got to do it in the pool. You've been trying to do that forever, and like even with our third, you tried to do it in the pool and you couldn't.
There's some birthing centers and there's some hospitals that have access to some of those things, but it can be difficult to transfer, and it can also be if you're in a different environment and things. Like labor is so much of a mental game, and so we were in our house, and I just had some other goals, and I just knew, and I was praying over very, very, very specific things, and I was able to be in the water. And I think if I had been anywhere else, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So
I think there's something to be said too, and we don't have to stay on this point very much longer, but there's something to be said too for the same reason why we like homeschooling is the same reason why we like home birth. It's because there's a 1-to-1 instead of a 1-to-many. Yeah. The care that you're getting is from someone who's only focused on you and your baby. Yeah, I have such and they don't have to go somewhere else and take care of somebody else's baby.
Yeah. And the relationship that I can build with my midwives is always amazing. The care that I get, especially our midwives this last time, they had so many similar beliefs. Zaria was born with a cleft lip, and the midwife that delivered her had a cleft lip, and it was just a really cool connection. And then just having somebody who values the same things that you value.
And with that, real quick, because you brought that up, we did partner with doctors in the hospital after the fact to be able to like get her treatment, and she had a surgery at 6 months. And
it's funny, and it was so good. The doctors did a great job. I was very thankful for our care there, but having experienced care with a midwife, with a team of women who are invested in you and your baby, is just different than you walk into the medical world and they kind of like check their lists, which is fine. Like that's their job. I have a lot of respect for the good doctors that we've come across, but like they check their list and they do their thing and then you're gone. It was like you didn't build a relationship. There wasn't like can I ask you more questions? Like, they would be there to answer, but it was just so much different. It was so.
And I think the lie that we're addressing is not that doctors
you should never go to a hospital
terrible, right? Like that's not the lie. Is that a natural birth is not an option.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And it's not new. It's literally for thousands of years. This is the way we've been doing it until just recently when hospital became the norm.
Right. And midwives have, I found even more experience more often than doctors with all kinds of different birth and situations and training. So,
Yep. All right. So what's the next lie on our list? Another health lie.
we kind of talked a little bit about this earlier, but it's that you can't age up. You grow up and you age down. You can't improve the quality of your life as you age. You're just doomed to keep like getting worse. It's a downhill slope. I think
When
that's
did you really
bad.
so you've always kind of espoused that ideal, but when did you really come into realizing that was a medical possibility? Like that's an actual physical possibility with your health.
It's always been a desire of mine to just not believe that once you hit a certain age, like life just goes downhill. I've just always wanted to reject that. And I think that some of my experiences of overcoming different hurdles in my own health and being like, I overcame this and I got better and I got stronger. Whereas sometimes things can be debilitating and like you go on this spiral path downwards. That was one thing where I was like, you know what? I've come across some things and I've gotten better. Like I've been able to figure out how to get stronger. And then seeing some people also do that, kind of breaking the mold and doing things that aren't the norm, but their quality of life is getting better. And they're really intentional. And so I've kind of always been on a journey, like trying to find those people. But I want to say probably the past 2 years, I'm trying to think when I first came across like information and people where it was like, we are doing this and we are, we're at 40, 50, 60, and we're healthier than what we were in our 20s and 30s. So probably the past couple of years, really where I was like, this is what they're doing and I can replicate this and apply it to my own life.
So I'm going to say something a little bit controversial right now because it for one, it kicks my own pants. But I have this similar philosophy around money as well. So with my money, if there is something that I can be doing to invest that better, to make it grow faster, and that's a skill that I could acquire and knowledge that is available and accessible to me, and I choose to not go all in and figure that out, I am now being a bad steward of what, and a lot of people think about like stewardship as just protecting what you have. But to me, it's the story in the Bible is the good steward is not the one who protected what he had. The good steward is the one who invested and doubled it. And so if there's a way that I can double my money and I don't take it like a safe, real, good way that I could double my money and I don't learn how to do that properly, I'm being a bad steward of the resources that I have. Same thing with your body, same thing with your age. If there's a way to reverse aging and you now hear about that, you know about it, and then you choose not to do anything with it.
I think you've always heard me talk about how it's like, I want to be in good health for my grandkids. My children have always been a big motivator for me of just wanting to be in good health. I want to set a good example for them. And I also think, what decisions am I making today that are going to impact my children for the rest of their lives, my grandchildren? Like, what am I doing today that's going to affect my life when I'm 60 and 70? Like, those are the things that I'm thinking about, that I'm like, I need to be forward thinking. If I want to be strong at 70, then what do I need to be doing today? So
lie number 3.
Let's see. You can't be the expert for your own health or like your family's or children's child's health. In the modern day and age, I feel like everybody you have pediatrician and doctors, and you have all of these appointments, and you have well checks, and we have milestones. So I guess this is applying a lot to children, but I will also apply it to us as well. And so I think a big lie out there is that you're not smart enough to be in charge of your health. Like, we need the experts weighing in, and I'm not saying there's not a time and place for that, because we do. Like, I'm listening to experts, but in different fields. And so being able to take charge of your health, and like, you are smart enough to like figure out the missing pieces of the puzzle for your body, and then to seek out the care that you need. So some of that is you have everything that you need to be able to figure it out. God has given us what we need. And then to be an advocate for the things that you think are important.
We've been blessed generationally because I consider you the expert in our family about health, but then also we lean heavily on both of our mothers who started that process of seeking out how to do holistic health. And then I think you just took it another step further, and hopefully our children will take it another step further and figure it out. But then we talk about also how YouTube has become the new college. And I think it would be dangerous to only listen to one expert in your local area who has one opinion from their biases and how they were raised and what their environment was. And like, that's dangerous when you have access to people who are giving you free professional advice online. And I think you're smart enough to figure out which ones are stupid and which ones have good points.
Like,
and you can put it all together and go, what's the whole picture?
Right. Yeah. And when you need more help to be like, okay, I know that I don't want to go this route. You know, like, I don't want to go this way. I know that I want to seek these kinds of people out. And so, yeah.
So like, I'll hear something that sounds weird to me online. And especially now, when I say go look out experts online, I am not talking about the TikTok you just watched where this person said, you're doing this wrong with your health. They're probably not an expert. But when you hear something like that, I'll usually come to you and go, have you ever heard this before? I did that the other day with some weird health thing. I was like, have you ever heard this before? It was sugar. People eat dessert after dinner because sugar relaxes your stomach. I heard that somewhere online and I was like, hey, have you ever heard this before? Is there any validity to that? Because she's the health expert in the family, right? And then she can go, her aggregate knowledge of all the experts that she's listened to, all the things that she's read, and she can go, I've never heard that before. That doesn't sound right. It doesn't gel with this, this, and this that I've heard from this other person. And you can all go through that same process. We can all like go source all of that information. It's just a matter of, one, knowing where to look and who to listen to, but then two, just being discerning. And I think just relying on one expert is pretty lazy and not taking control of your own body and your own health. What's another lie? We got two left.
Okay. Okay, this one is going to be more specifically for just women, but in order to lose weight, like kind of in the workout health world, there's this big push to like work out more, and you need to eat less, like cut your calories and do like really high intensity workouts and cardio and things. So, you know, focus on that. And if you lift heavy, then you're going to get bulky. What I see it doing is just like driving a lot of women into the ground. Like, you know, as you age, it's things that were working aren't working anymore, or your hormones are shot because you're running under a lot of stress. And so, you know, if this lie that says that we have to go all the time, when women were designed to fluctuate. Like, you know, our bodies aren't meant for this high intensity kind of living every day. And working out like that is going to be detrimental to your health. But I just see like that's a really big push, and there's lots of like boot camps and workouts, and it's like the longer you work out, the harder you work out, like the better. And just finding out that that's really doing worse for things for your health than helping. So
I was listening to something the other day, and it's weird because you were like, this made me feel so loved that you like listen to this. But I was listening to it was a female expert who was talking about the way that a woman's cycle interacts with her brain, and how like working out high intensity during certain times would be really harmful because of the different levels of hormones that are going on.
Yeah, like there's sometimes where high intensity is good.
Sure. But she was specifically talking about like going into the start of a new cycle. There needs to be like this period of rest because your body's getting ready for something. And if you're just, what she said that was interesting to me is like, if you are doing high intensity stuff during that time, you're going to flood your body with the wrong type of hormone and actually mess things up.
Right. Elsewhere. Make it worse for when your body needs the other things.
Yeah. Because you're never resting.
Right. And I found that to be true. I can look back on seasons of my life where, I didn't understand my cycle as well, or, you know, I didn't understand about depletion and just the toll of that raising babies, like, you know, carrying babies and nurturing them, that it takes on your body, which is good. Like, God designed our bodies for amazing things, but just not understanding what I needed to do to support myself. So I can look back and be like, wow, I was really like hormonally just low, or I was really depleted and deficient. And so all these other things that were going on, like, I wish that I could take the knowledge that I have now and be like, this is what you need. Like, you go, Steffanie, you'll feel better if you do these things. And so I'm kind of able to work with myself a little bit more now.
It's kind of unfortunate that it's become almost a joke to be like, oh, it's that time of the month, you know,
Right.
because if you actually do understand the different levels of hormone that are being activated at those different stages, it makes a lot of sense. That one of the things they were talking about is that, like, that 1 week where she was like, I believe during that 1 week you should just put all the women in the boardroom. They can make all the decisions.
Yeah, they could just get it done.
Because like you're in that go get it mode. And I do, like, well, I'll walk in sometimes and you just sort of like on a cleaning spree
like
or something, and you're just like, oh my gosh, what are you all at once? Why are you doing that today?
Yeah,
like spread that out. But then it makes sense because like you're highly motivated. It's the time when you're the most similar to a male orientation. It's like I'm that way all the time, right? Like I'm motivated to get going and do stuff, and
not that,
you know,
like, not that we can't both be motivated and work hard, but more of just like you're designed to have like higher
biologically motivated. You know, it's like there's just higher intensity all the time in a guy, and it's not supposed to be that way for a girl,
right? And I don't think any, like, our hormones are never an excuse for ungodly behavior or tendencies or anything like that. Like, if you have a lot of if you're just struggling a lot, like, there's an aspect of things where you need to take it to the Lord, and there needs to be spiritual work. But physically, when you are supporting yourself and kind of working within those God-given like limits, and also what's the opposite of a limit? Like, I'm like thinking like limits, and like when you're working within like the peaks and things. Yeah. Anyway, so the highs and lows, the good things, you know, anyway. So when you're working within those things, like, God created those things, and it can be really, really good. So just, you know,
what's stupid is I can't think of the opposite of limit right now. And everybody that's watching this podcast is going, like, they're screaming at the screen right now, the opposite of limit. But I'm thinking of synonyms. I'm like, boundary,
limitless.
That's not the opposite.
I know.
The opposite of a limit would be, I don't know, grandioseness. I can't think of it. I'm going to look it up as soon as we get off. Okay. We have one more lie, though. What's the last lie?
I forgot we had another one. Okay.
Yeah, it's the fifth lie. Okay. We promised 5. We are not going to underdeliver on this podcast.
Okay. Raw milk is dangerous.
Oh, well, we should quit drinking it then.
I know.
Because it's in our fridge all the time.
I'm like
every week
all the time.
Hey, can you order some more milk
week?
What's
my new favorite drink, Caleb?
You drink so much milk.
Yeah.
So much. Are you sure you're not a cow?
Yeah.
You are a baby cow.
I am a cow.
You're just under the cow all the time, drinking the milk.
Okay, stop. No, too far.
Okay. It's true, though.
Anyways, no, raw milk. Okay, what's crazy, I started drinking raw milk in my pregnancy with Zaria. And I've always wanted to like give up soda. I used to be like a really big soda drinker. And it was kind of like I started drinking coffee, with Arrow. And that was more of like my caffeine, because like you feel, you know, I just need like a boost. And now I know so many other things that can like help my energy. I
whiskey.
Just like I do not drink whiskey.
Some beer.
Okay, anyways.
Tried it all, man.
Okay, so when I started drinking raw milk, anyways, one, I like felt a difference in my body. It was like giving me something that I didn't know that I was missing, because it's full of minerals and nutrients and like good calories. Like, my body just was like, I cannot get enough of this, you know? So anyways.
Because she's a cow.
I know. So anyways, but I lost my taste for Coke Zero. Like, I didn't want soda anymore. It started with like, it was kind of like a promise to myself. I was like, if I'm buying raw milk, then I want to cut out soda. Like, I kind of wanted, our budget was tight. I'm like, if I'm doing this, I'm going to try to cut this out, or like go back, go cut like way down. And so I started doing that. And then just little by little, like, I just didn't want it anymore. It just didn't taste good to me anymore. So I really think that raw milk was like it was like the way that I was able to give it up. But because I think when we are mineral and nutrient deficient, our body will crave things because it's not getting what it needs. And so I feel like I'm getting things that my body needs after, 10 years of nursing and raising babies and things. And so anyways, it's really good for your bones.
It definitely freaked me out.
Yeah.
It freaked me out when you, like, the first day that I was like, hey, you want me to grab you a Coke Zero? Because every time I was going out to grab a Coke, she would grab a Coke Zero.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were like, nah, I don't want one ever again.
I know. Yeah, I've never.
And I was like, what? What's going on? She never wants one.
Yeah.
And then it was like, there was almost never a drink again. Now there's a 0-calorie tea, but not one that I can go grab you from like a gas station or like McDonald's or wherever we were going. Mm-hmm. Now I don't drink soda either, but when I did, like, that was just the thing, right? I would go and I'd get a Coke, I'd get you a cherry Coke Zero, and we would drink it in our super hot bus at night because we were waiting.
If I think about the bus and how hot it was and how good that Coke tasted at 11 o'clock at night when we were like dying, dude, that will make me crave it sometimes.
When we moved to Texas, we had a little tiny motorhome. It was nice for a while. We had it. This was the same.
Like, I've got good memories in there.
This was the same motorhome though that
the wall was falling off.
The wall started falling off while we were driving. It just started separating the wall. It was
held on by one.
The wall was bolted to the chassis by one bolt that popped off while we were driving, and like there was a 2 or 3 foot gap. And we're like, I guess don't let the kids go over there.
Well, I think some of them were sleeping in the back, but some of them were on the bus with your family.
It was ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, so this bus, the air conditioning was centralized, and it blew really, really hot, or like really, really strong in the middle part. Mm-hmm. But our bed was in the back, and the back had just like the weakest little airstream from that central. And it did not.
We were in the Texas heat, so it was like
goodness.
August.
It was 90 degrees at night after the sun went down. And the kids are all in bed at 8:30, 9. They're all sleeping.
We're just so
because they're out in the nice chilly front, and they had plenty. And so like we had a projector back in our room, and we would just watch movies and drink Coke with no blankets until it was cool enough for us to fall asleep. Yeah. It was the most like ridiculous couple of months. Eventually, we upgraded our home and got something. And the first time that we slept in that bed with an air conditioning unit right above our head that blew in our face, I was like, "This is heaven."
Yeah, I still miss that actually.
It was so loud. It was wonderful.
Well, okay, but it did leak when it rained. I don't miss that.
Well, it would. So when it rained, that was the only air unit that did it. It would get trapped in the air units, like it was sucking it in. And it wouldn't start leaking right away. If it rained a ton, it would leak while it was on. But while it was on, you could just hear it. It was in there. It was like rattling around. As soon as you turn it off, it went.
That was a shock the first time it happened.
And it just was like, everything's wet now. So when it rained, and it rained a lot the year that we had that, it was ridiculous how many times
Texas
it rained.
Would have like the weird rain seasons where it would just downpour.
It would flood for 15 minutes and then be dry in an hour.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. Anyways, but it would just come down, and then we would put our like bucket underneath the air unit, and I was like, "Are you ready? Yeah. Turn off." Wipe it down, turn it back on.
And my least favorite thing was like if it was raining in the middle of the night. So like we used that for noise. So and we had like some babies sleeping in there with us. So like I didn't want to turn it off while we were sleeping, because then it was like there was no noise, and then also like it would wake the kids up. And so I would like scrunch up and sleep diagonal and stick a bucket down there, and then I would try not to knock it off.
It was so ridiculous. And it wasn't like this was an old RV. This was a brand new fifth wheel that we bought off the lot. Everything else worked great in it, except that one air unit would suck water into it. I went up there on top a bunch of times just looking for like, how does this happen?
Design flaw.
I couldn't figure it out.
We should ask them like, hey, did you fix, like Iron Man, did you fix the icing problem? Hey, did you fix the rain problem?
Were you aware?
We should call this episode Stephanie's movie quotes episode.
I guess. You are just all over the movie quotes.
Yeah.
All right.
So raw milk is not dangerous. Like that was my experience with it. But anyways, it's so good for your body. I guess it's
the opposite of dangerous.
Yeah. It's like, we're all used to this conventional dairy.
Diarrhea.
Yeah. Do that. That's bad. But
we did that in the other segment.
Yeah.
It was all over our arms. The cacao.
Stop it.
Cacaos.
Enough of that.
Cacao.
It exploded.
Cacao.
Anyway.
So raw milk is good for you.
Yeah. I didn't really.
That's
go
what we
into much
learned
why,
today. We learned today that raw milk is good for
Go
you.
to Weston A. Price Foundation and learn about raw milk.
That just came out of nowhere.
Well, I was thinking.
I'll
like,
put
I
it
didn't
on the
really-
bottom. Weston A. Price Foundation.
Yeah. Okay. Like if you really want to know more
I'd
about
never
raw
heard
milk,
of that before.
Yeah, you got a lot of good information there. But anyways, if you're like Steffanie, raw milk is bad for you.
It's not
there's
pasteurized.
bacteria. Yeah,
It's
got
just below
bacteria.
your
You're
eyes.
gonna get
It's
really
okay.
sick. Well, have a good relationship with your farmer. Do your research.
You didn't even hear my joke.
No.
So on that note, ote we go.
What
We'll see you
was the
next week. It was pasteurized. I was like, it's just beneath your eyes. See, you would have laughed. All right. Well, have a good day.